deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really important. The reality of domestic violence, looking beyond just the physical aspect. We're using insights from, well, a recent county proclamation and some pretty detailed commissioner briefings. The goal here is to really understand what counts as abuse and, how community support systems actually work to help people.
That support structure is absolutely key. And like Cumming County declaring October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, that sends a strong message. It's partly about mourning, 104 lives lost in Pennsylvania just last year. That's a huge number. But it's also a connection, getting the community involved to make things change. We need to see how abuse is defined and handled, even when there are no visible marks.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that. Commissioner Metzger's briefing, it really hammered home that abuse isn't just one thing, right? Why was it so crucial for him to spell out these non-physical forms of harm?
Well, because it's all about control for the abuser. The commissioner specifically named financial abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, and he stressed they're all linked. It's this deep psychological manipulation, like financial control that often traps victims, makes it impossible to leave, even if they're scared physically.
Right, that makes sense. And this is where that specific case study he used comes in. It really drives home the lasting damage of emotional violence. Can you remind us about that graphic threat, the one the father made to his sons?
Yeah, it was horrific and deliberately chosen, I think, to show how words can scar just as much as actions. The father told his two young boys, directed them, really pick a wall because that's where your mom's brains are going to be on.
Just awful. It paints such a clear picture of the terror. But what's the bigger takeaway here, systemically speaking? The father was held accountable for that emotional damage, wasn't he?
Yes, and that's what's really fascinating. The system actually recognized the psychological harm as, a serious offense. He was put on an official registry specifically for emotional child abuse. That confirms these systems can address it. And he died in prison. So it shows there can be real consequences. And importantly, despite that trauma, the sons apparently grew up okay, described as wonderful young men.
Okay, so that story, it kind of grounds the problem, but also shows there can be accountability.
Yeah.
It leads us nicely into the solutions part. So how does the community actually help people trying to escape these situations? The proclamation mentioned WISE Option at the YWCA North Central PA.
Exactly. WISE Options, part of the YWCA, is like that first line of defense. They offer advocacy, resources, education, and the impact is significant. Just in the past year, they helped more than 1,700 individuals. That's a lot of people.
Wow, 1,700. And there were funding stats too, right? Something about housing.
Yeah, really critical funding. They invested over $160,000 in housing programs. That helped 50 families find stable ground to rebuild their lives.
Okay, $160,000 for 50 families. Given what you said about financial abuse being a key control tactic, how vital is that specific housing support?
Oh, it's arguably the most vital piece for long-term stability. It's not just, a handout. It's a direct counter to the abuser's control. By helping those 50 families get secure housing, WISE Options is fundamentally breaking that cycle of financial dependence. It makes real survival outside the abusive home, possible.
And in getting that kind of support running, it takes more than just one agency. The proclamation talked about this whole community safety net or firewall.
Yeah.
Why bring in groups like schools, doctors, even donors? Isn't it just a justice system issue?
Not at all. Because, think about it. Victims interact with all these people. The proclamation was clear. Sure, judges and courts provide justice. The sheriff serves the PFAs, protection from abuse orders. That's crucial. But schools, healthcare providers, they might be the first ones to notice something's wrong. They're early identifiers. And the donors, well, they keep the lights on at places like WISE Options. It has to be this 360-degree thing so survivors aren't missed wherever they reach out.
But that's a whole network. That sounds like what Amber Morningstar, the WISE Options director, meant when she called the proclamation a promise. A promise that survivors will be seen, supported.
Absolutely. It's about visibility. And connecting it all, you realize abuse cuts across every age, every income level. It's everywhere. Which is why prevention, like the community training WISE Options does, is so vital, trying to break those cycles, before they even start or get passed down.
So thinking about that case study again, the one where the father was put on a registry for emotional child abuse, it makes you wonder what more needs to change systemically. How do we make sure all these forms of abuse, financial, emotional, verbal, carry real weight, equal weight in our justice system, both criminal and civil?